All right, everybody. Well, thanks for being here. My name is Tony Procopio. I'm one of the founders here co-founders here at Think Plus, along with my wife, Diana, and our business partners, Jim and Lisa Kenny, Brendan Kenny and Ed Kenny. And man, things are definitely happening. I'm logging in today for anybody who doesn't know us. We're from Connecticut, from New Fairfield, Connecticut. Today, I'm logging in from a remote location. Recently, my wife and I picked up a Class B RV, like a van type of RV, and to kind of untether us and be able to be anywhere we want to be, and be able to do meetings from anywhere, be able to, do the things we want to do in our life. And, I say that because that's what this business affords people. It affords people the ability to be completely untethered from a work location and from a money perspective as well. And so that's what we're doing. That's what we're helping people do, is to help them to unlock their time and basically set them free from having to worry about money and making money a stressful thing in their lives. And so when you have the ability to do that from our business, you can be anywhere in the world. And that's where we are today. We're basically on the beach, camping near the beach, but just working whenever we can and fitting it into our schedules and still having fun doing the things that we want to do. And that's what it's all about. And so I wish the same for everybody here, whether you want to do the types of things we're doing or whatever it is you like to do with your time and with your money. We want to be able to help you do that. And this training that we do every Tuesday with the call to action is to help people understand, get training topics out there to help them accelerate their businesses. And right now, one of those topics is how dual billing works with community solar. With the advent of our Nexamp partnership, which is now here and running really moving forward in the state of Illinois right now, and additional states, Virginia and New York to come, but then many more states as we go. It's important to understand how dual billing works because it allows those customers to get a much higher discount than they normally get, sometimes like 50 to 100% more discount. And as long as they understand and get on to dual billing. And so we're going to talk about that because it's very important to encourage customers and to explain it to them, how easy it is and how simple. What I want to talk about now is we want to talk about community solar dual billing and really get you up to speed on what you need to be thinking about, how you need to approach this with customers, and just the mindset behind it, okay? It is good for the customer. What I like to show and talk about with customers with community solar dual billing, the first thing you need to understand is how it works. Like in a simple way, no matter what market you're in, this is how it works. All right, so let's use an example where you have a utility bill and the usage is $180 bill. It's a $200 total bill. Their basic service charges and taxes are about $20, and they have a $200 electric bill. This is about average. It's actually higher than that, the average across the country now, but let's just call it a $200 electric bill is an average bill. So when you don't have community solar, you don't get any discounts. You see the discounts? Zero. So you're paying full retail price on your electric bill of $200. That's what you have to be saying to people and thinking about, at least having it in the back of your mind when it comes to community solar, is that if they don't have the community solar discount that they are entitled to through a state-sponsored program, not state-funded, state-sponsored program. Okay, this is a state law. Community solar exists in states where the government makes a law that allows a customer to remotely connect their electric bill to a solar farm to get a discount by participating in the clean energy revolution. Basically is what it comes out to. So it's a state-sponsored program because it's a law. Okay. What we don't say is that it's a state funded program or you're signing up for a government program that's funded by the government. That's not it. Okay. Be very careful about that. This is a state sponsored program because it's a state law that entitles you to get this discount. Okay. Now the discounts come through the utility company and through the community solar farm developers. That's the group where it comes from. So those are private entities, right? Public utility companies are private entities. And so are community solar developers. Those are private entities. But they're administering a state-sponsored program where it's a law. Okay, so just it's not state funded. So do not say that, right? Now let's take a look at, well, what happens after someone has community solar and dual billing. So they'll still receive a utility bill for the usage portion of their bill. I'm just going to use this general example, and in most states, the discount is on the usage, the delivery, and the supply portion of the bill is what it's attributed to. Now, in the state of Illinois, different. It's just on the supply portion of the bill. So that's the only caveat you have to have is in Illinois. It's the only state where it's based on the supply portion of the bill. But let's use this example just across the board. Same bill with the same usage. You pay your utility bill. It's $180. You have basic service charges on there of $20. Though normally would be $200. But let's say that you received from the community solar farm $180 in solar credits on your bill. Okay, that means that when it drops the price of that utility bill with your local utility company down to only $20, now it'll be a little bit higher in Illinois because you're going to be paying the basic service charges and the delivery portion of bill, and then you'll be paying the rest of the bill through the community solar provider in that state. Now, this is the second portion. Now you receive a Think Community Solar bill or a Nexamp bill or an Arcadia bill or whoever our provider is. If there are certain providers that like Nexamp where they do the billing, great. Most of our providers that we work with, Think does the billing. All right, so now there's a second bill. Let's call it a community solar bill, a Think Community Solar bill. And again, it could be from the local, the actual solar farm developer, but let's just go with that. It's a community solar bill. So now you receive a community solar bill, which is equal to the solar credits that you received on your bill, on your utility bill, minus the discount. So notice how it works here. Your bill is $180 because from the community solar applied to your utility bill. When you take a 15% discount, let's use that as the example here, that's $27 on $180. So you minus that 27 out, and now you're paying the local, you're paying the community solar company who sends you that bill, whether it's Think or Nexamp or whoever it is, you're paying them $152 instead of $180. So when you add these two yellow numbers up, you're paying $20 to your local utility company and $152. You're only paying $172, but you normally would have had a $200 bill. That's the difference. That is the difference right there. You're talking about $28 of savings right there on that electric. That should actually be 153. Do I have the math wrong on that? We should make that 153. 173, if that's the number. Maybe I have the math right, maybe I don't, but whatever it comes out to, let me just make sure I have that because I'm looking at 180 and we're timesing it by 0.15, so it is $27. That should have said 173, so I updated it so that we have it. Make sure I get the math right. But that's how it works. So what I like to show people is now that you know how it works, the customer, all they really need to know is you're going to pay two bills with dual billing. You're going to pay a portion of your utility bill to your local utility company, and you're going to pay a portion of your utility bill to your local solar provider, whoever that is, Think, Nexamp, whoever. Those two bills, when you add them together, that's how you experience the 15% discount. And that's why in Illinois right now with Nexamp, it was normally a 10% discount when it wasn't dual billing, but now 50% more. It's up to 15% discount on that electric bill every month for up to 20 years. So that's a very powerful platform. So what I always like to tell people is when somebody says, how does dual billing work? You pay two bills, and when you add them together, it's 15% less than if you paid one bill. That's it. That's, in a nutshell, that is the simplest way to explain community solar. I've worked in the community solar space for over 7 years now, and that is the simplest way to tell it to people. You're paying two bills instead of one. When you add them together, that's how you come up with the 15% or whatever percent discount it is. And this is the exact graphical representation of it, a slide that shows you before and after in a very simple fashion. Okay. Now, there's another way that you can make it make sense to people, a simple way to think of community solar dual billing, and you see it in our videos. And I like this explanation as well because it makes sense to people. Sometimes I have to say the first way, hey, you pay two bills, and when you add the two bills up together, you are going to get 15% off of your electric bill for 20 years. That could be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's why it's worthwhile to do it. I mean, who cares if you pay two bills instead of one? I mean, what's the difference? No, for that kind of savings, it's fantastic. So now the other simple way to think of community solar or to explain it to community solar discounts to people is to say this. Well, what if I gave you a $100 gift card to use on your electric bill? And then you paid me $85 for that $100 gift card. That's 15% less. You saved $15. It only cost you $85, okay? But you had to pay me. And then you use that gift card to go and pay your utility bill. See, you're paying two bills, but you're getting the discount. So it's basically like that. Somebody says, well, what if you got a $200 gift card? Well, then you'd get 15% off of $200, which would be $30 less. See, if you do this every month and you're saving $15 a month for 20 years, that's $3,600. That's if it's only a $100 electric bill. Think about that, $100 portion of the bill. They could have a $400 electric bill, and it would be 4 times that savings that you just see there of $3,600. So that's why I say this can be many, many thousands of dollars. For some people, more than $10,000 just for signing up once and getting that discount. Now we have bill samples that you can see when you go into a lot of our community solar trainings have it. And if you specifically go into the Nexamp training, which is our newest partner, you can actually go to thinksuccess.plus. I'll show you that in a second, and type in Nexamp. I'll show you where to find it. But you can actually click through the slides that show you how to enroll a customer, and it shows you how the bill works and a sample of what the bill looks like from a dual billing company like Nexamp. And so you want to be familiar with this and go through this slide. I'm not going to go through the nitty gritty on this. I want you to go and look at this in the Nexamp Community Solar training so you can see what a sample bill looks like. And we have an entire training behind that. And if you have not seen it yet, Kelly Broughton and team, everybody, they did a great job on the training on that. And then there's a recording with Steve Condon and Jenna Stockwell, our community solar experts, our VP of Community Solar and the Director of Community Solar. They did a great job as well, and we have a recording of that too. Now, what I want to talk about before I go into the slides and show you some of the Nexamp slides, because I do want to show you where to find that, is the mindset when educating people about dual billing. Okay, mindset. Okay, the people who I've seen this, I've been in this industry for 7 years, and the people who have the right mindset about community solar, that they move forward, especially on dual billing. When they have the right mindset, they're encouraging customers the right way, and they're giving them the proper information so that they can make an educated decision as to whether they want to do this or not. Okay, having that mindset, there's a few things in the back of your mind that you need to be thinking about. And the first one is that this is just government studies, and you can go look up government studies on that. They estimate that 20 to 33% of people around the country are already on auto pay for their electric bill. Okay. And it's important to know that because when the customer signs up on dual billing with community solar, they are going to go on to auto pay. They can't get a paper check sent to them, a paper bill sent to them and pay it by check whenever they want. That's not how it works. If that was the case, then we wouldn't have these great discounts. It would be a lot lower. If the community solar developer had to do that, had to do billing through the mail and all that, and it would be a nightmare for them. So they have to be paid regularly. So the customers have to go on auto pay. Well, when you look into the numbers from the government about the 20 to 33%, it's actually very few states where it's only 20%. There's only a couple of them. Most of the customers around the country and states, 25 to 33% is where like 90% of the states fall. So really that's what we're looking at is 1/4 to 1/3 of people are on auto pay for their electric bill already. Why are they on auto pay? Because they just want to set it and forget it. They don't want to deal with it. It's not worth it to them. And they just want to, I just put it on auto pay, just like you do a lot of other things. These people, this group of people, they're ready to go. All you have to do is let them know that this is also auto pay. It's just you're going to have an auto pay for 2 bills instead of one. It's going to make your utility bill smaller, and you're already on auto pay for that. But let's get you on auto pay as well on the community solar side so that you can get this 15% discount. They're already ready to go. They're on auto pay with no discount from their local utility company. They're just on auto pay. So you're going to get them to sign up every single one of those people. They should be signing up right on this program because it's simple. They can set it and forget it and they're done. So that means that 67 to 80%, but I really like to say, 67 to 67 to 75% really is what it comes out to. Most are not on auto pay for their electric bill. So if 20 to 33% are on it, then 67 to 80% are not on auto pay for their electric bill. Okay, great. Well, let's dig into what those numbers look like. Okay. Half, I would say, an estimate, roughly half of those 67 to 80%, so out of 100, maybe half of those 33 to 40 people out of 100 are probably not candidates for auto pay. Now, you're going to encourage all of them to do it, and they might want to do it, but honestly, some of those people, they're just not candidates for auto pay. They're paying their bill, week by week, they can't figure out an exact time to be able to pay their bill at that moment, on the same day of every month. Or they just have difficulty doing that. They don't have funds there all the time and they're not sure, and that's fine. Some of those people, there's a percentage of people that you're not going to get onto this program because they're not ready to get onto auto pay. And that's fine. But the other half, they are candidates. So the other 33 to 40 out of 100, they are candidates. They just have no reason to be on auto pay. The only reason they're not on it is because there's no discount for doing it. Why would I do it? Why get onto auto pay? I'll just pay it whenever I want, during the month. It doesn't have to be on auto pay. I don't have to upload my credentials to do that. So they haven't been given a reason to do it, and that's why they're not doing it. Because there's no incentive. There's no incentive to do it. So I'm going to make the jump here and show you that when there is an incentive for people to get on auto pay for a bill that they have to pay every month anyway, that many, many more than just 20 to 33% actually get onto auto pay. So let's look at another bill that's a pretty big bill that people have, which is their cell phone bill, their mobile phone bill. Well, the estimates from mobile phone operators, mobile phone companies, cell phone companies, is that 80% of those customers, of those people, pay their mobile phone via auto pay. Okay, why is that? Because every single one of those mobile providers, 100% of them, give someone a benefit, a discount. Sometimes it's $5. Sometimes it's 5%. It's definitely not 15% savings. Definitely not. And it can also change. It can be $5 at some point. They can change it. It's subject to change, whereas community solar is not subject to change. That discount is locked once a customer signs up right now for 15 to 20% savings, let's say, or in Illinois with Nexamp. Just to use that as the example, that's locked for 20 years. That's never going to change. The only way that changes is if the customer cancels and is no longer or moves out of the area. But as long as they're on that platform and they're connected to the solar farm, they're always going to get that number does not change. That 15 to 20% is not going to change. So now if 80% of people are on auto pay for their mobile phone bill, the reason it's 80 and not 20 to 33% is because there's an incentive for people to do it. And even with the incentive, okay, that's a no-brainer with a mobile. I'm on auto pay for my cell phone bill because I think I get like $10 off or something a month. I'm on it. But there's still 20% of people who are not going to go on auto pay for their mobile phone bill. It's the same thing on their electric bill. There's a percentage of people that are not going to do it. And you just have to understand that. And once you understand those numbers, now you're like, wow, this is great. This is something that we're doing for people. We're not trying to get them to do something. We're doing something for them. We've got something great that we're offering them. How about taking 3 or 4 minutes and signing up for Community Solar and get a $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, sometimes even $20,000 of savings over the next 20 years? We've had some customers like in the state of New Jersey where they're saving more than $1,000 a year just for signing up for Community Solar. Okay. So, and even though that market is utility consolidated billing, most of the new solar farms are, there still are people who are on dual billing because they get a higher discount for doing it and they don't want to move away from that. So this is what's going on with dual billing.